Hey, hello everyone and welcome to this video. So in this video, we will be looking at the categorize activity which is available in the UiPath GenAI activity package. So we will go through the input and output and some of the use cases that we can, work with when we are working with the categorize activity in UiPath. So let us discuss the input that we need for this in order to work with this activity. So there are four input parameters that are mainly required. One is the connection that you have set up in the integration service. The second is the content that you want to pass into the activity so that it can be used for the categorization. It could be an email, it could be a document that you have read. The third thing here is the categories. So here you will define the number of categories that you want that particular content to be categorized into. It could be like HR, it could be a sales, it could be inquiry, these kind of an categories that you can define in this particular field. And the last thing is the description. So you have defined the category, right? The type of the categories, but you have to mention the description of that particular category, which can help the LLM to identify the content that you have sent to identify in which particular category that content falls under, which you have sent in the input. Okay. Then we have the other thing that are the output. So we get an output in the content category, which we have defined in the categories input, right? So we will get those same thing in the output. Let us see how these things works in the UiPath. So let me just switch back to the UiPath Studio. Okay. So I have built a very simple workflow. So before that, I have created a folder named as categories, and inside that I have created a one XAML file. This is a sequence file that I have created. In this, I have three activities. One is the input dialog to pass in the content that can be passed by the user or whoever running the automation. Second is the activity itself, the categorize activity that I have used here. And third thing is the message box. So whatever the output that we will get from the categorize activity, right, that will be shown in the message box. So in order to have these activities available to you, the categorize and all those, you have to install one package. So you have to install these UiPath integration service activity packages. Once you have these packages installed, you will get an access to the all the integration services activity for the this particular integration service that we have built. Okay. So this is the input dialog, which is pretty much easy to configure. Then the category action, the main thing of this particular workflow. So in the categorize action in the activity, we are passing few things. One is the integration service connector that we have built. Okay. The second thing is the model, which model we want to use. We have multiple set of models here. So I'm using GPT 5.1. Then the content. So the content will come from the text box. So that content will be passed here. Then this is the categories that we have to define it. If I just expand it, so these are the type of categories. It could be a sales, the content that the user is passing, right? It could be sales, technical support, billing, HR, or general. Okay. So these are the type of categories. And then I have to define the description for this particular category. So it becomes easy for LLM to understand which particular category the content fall into, right? So for the sales, this is the description that I have passed in. Don't worry, I'll just paste in this description and the category that I have built here in the description, in the video description, so that you can easily find it. With that, I have the description of the content that I'm getting from the input, right? I have defined the description of that content here as well. So again, this is an optional field, but you can pass it here as well. Then from this particular activity, I'll get one thing in the output, which is the content category that I can use to show in the message box. If I show you the message box as well. So I'm just using that variable here. Okay. So now I have input. Okay. I am using this as an input. I'll just show you when we start running the workflow. So let us just execute this particular workflow. Okay, so this is my input. In the input I'm passing, I would like to schedule a demo for your enterprise platform of our team of 50 users. So this particular content is of type sales category, right? So what this particular activity will do, it will read this content and it will categorize it into one of the five categories that we have defined in this categorize dictionary. Okay. So if I click on OK, it will do the categorization and I'll get the output in the output. I'll get the category that this particular content defines to. Okay. So this particular content is of sales category, as we have seen in the content. Okay. So I'll click on OK. So this is how you can work with the categorize activity in the UiPath. It is pretty simple. You just have to pass in a few things and then you get the output in the desired format. Okay. Let's head back to the PPT again. So we have seen the input and the output that we need to pass in, right? But let us see the use cases that we can use this particular activity for. Okay. So we can use this activity for the use cases, for example, like customer support ticket categorization, right? So here you can think of a scenario where you get an inquiry of multiple things like shipping delay, order status, or refund request, right? This kind of a scenario, you can use this particular activity. Then the second use case is the product review and sentiment classification. So suppose someone is reviewing your product, right? You need to understand whether that particular review is positive, negative, or is it a neutral, right? So you can use this particular activity in that scenario as well. Third use case could be document type classification. So suppose you have the document ready, but you don't want to go and train the model entirely on the document, but you just want to do the one-shot document categorization. In this case as well, you can use this particular activity to, identify if the document or the content that is being sent to the LLM, it is of type invoice, purchase order, or receipt, or what particular category it fall under. Then the last use case could be the IT help desk ticket validation. So in this case, you can use this categorize activity to understand whether the email that is being sent to the IT help desk, right? Whether it is a high priority email, medium, or low priority email. Okay? So these are some of the use cases that you can use this particular categorize activity. Yeah, that's it for this video. And in the next video, we will look into the another activity that we get with the UiPath GenAI activity pack. Thank you for watching this video and see you in next video.